Thank you, Thomas. Is that on? Can you hear me all right? Well, a very good morning to everyone. My name is Foster Perry. That's Foster like foster child and Perry like Katy Perry. I am your pulpit host for this morning. And on behalf of the congregation, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of native tribes. Whether you have joined us online or you are here in our sanctuary, we are glad to have you with us in this sacred time that we choose to be together. Our congregation is served by the Reverend Jaimie Simon, who is to my left and is available for pastoral care and to answer questions about Unitarian Universalism. She may be reached at minister@uuch.org. If you are a newcomer, please sign our guest book, which is in the foyer, to receive our weekly email newsletter. Please also take a moment to silence your electronic devices. Appreciate that. But don't silence yourself or the people around you. The joyful and not so joyful noises of children and adults are always welcome. If you have a joy or a sorrow or an important milestone that you would like to share during our circle of candles and included in the pastoral prayer, please write it on one of the white cards found in the hymnal rack in front of you. This is what it looks like. And place it in the offering basket when that is passed around. For community news and events, check our email newsletter, the website, and the announcement section of our order of service. After our service, everyone is welcome to join us in the fellowship hall for coffee and snacks. One announcement I'd like to make just before I invite Darlene to come up. This is regarding the Little Food Pantry. We need everyone to participate in keeping the Little Food Pantry and refrigerator filled. Please bring a can or two every Sunday and place it in the Little Food Pantry baskets. This small donation can help keep the pantry filled. You can also sign up to fill the pantry through the newsletter Sign Up Genius. Our push is, yes, I can, bring a can. Thank you, Gail. We're going to get you back in advertising. Okay. So now I'd like to invite Darlene Patton up for a testimonial. Where are you? Oh, you're hiding out in the congregation.
Good morning, friends. Thank you for being here this lovely day. And as Foster said, my name is Darlene. And later on, you'll see some of our junior volunteers that are going to bring a gift to everyone here. A special thing for you from them. And these are part of our junior hospitality teams. And we are delighted to have them join us and really do a good job. And so together, the junior hospitality team and myself have come today to invite you to the volunteer fair to be held next Sunday after service in the fellowship hall. The purpose of the fair is twofold. One, it gives you a chance to meet, greet, and celebrate our volunteer teams. We here in our beloved community have much to celebrate. Today, during coffee hour, I hope that you will be delighted by the slides about the many accomplishments of our volunteers, and Zena has prepared those slides for us for viewing today. You will be amazed, as I was, to see all that our volunteers have accomplished this year. Volunteers are a heart of our community. They are love in action, and their value is beyond measure. Without them, well, imagine what our church would look like. The gatherings would not be available. The music we would not hear. The children with no one to teach them. I cannot imagine. So please come to the fair, talk to our volunteer teams, and give them a great big old thank you. The other purpose of the fair is to give you information about the many golden volunteer opportunities we have. Our church has 13 committees. Each serves in its own special way, and it has different duties. Some take a short amount of time, only 15 to 30 minutes on a given Sunday. Others need a longer commitment. Some are one-time events. Some can be done from your home in the comfort of your recliner. Those are the ones my David volunteers for. But each one is important to the life of our church. So please, come to the fair next Sunday, talk to your volunteer teams, find out if there's a volunteer service that's a good match for your interest, your talents, and your time. Say yes to volunteering. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, but it's all delicious and probably good for your heart. Thank you.
And now we will have our music for centering, followed by our thread song, which is number 396. I know this rose will open. Thomas? Thank you.
Morning, friends. Welcome in, welcome here to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. My name is Reverend Jaimie Simon. I'm your minister, and I use the she, her, and hers pronouns. This morning, our worship service will serve to remind you and remind all of us that in this moment when our nation and our world and our political landscape feels fraught and fearsome, that we Unitarian Universalists are part of a long process of justice. We have deep roots in the work of justice. We are here together, meeting this moment as those before us met their own moments. May we be inspired by these stories of resistance and solidarity and love. And may we be especially grateful this morning to my colleague, the Reverend Dr. Everett Howe, who compiled this service and shared it with all of Unitarian Universalism as a gift in honor of the good work happening in Minneapolis. Foster and I will begin by speaking words of invocation, and we'll prompt you to respond to those words. They're in your order of service, and so when we point to you, it's your turn to speak with us. Our Unitarian Universalist faith has grown from seeds planted by our Unitarian Universalist ancestors. From them, we've inherited a legacy of courage and compassion, finding new ways to live our values.
These are words of Reverend Elizabeth Wynn. As Unitarian Universalists, our journey is to transform the big and the small, to transform ourselves and to transform the world. Universalism means no one is outside of the circle of love, and no one is disposable. Say it with me. No one is outside of the circle of love, and no one is disposable. We stubbornly seek out the spark of the divine in each other, no matter what. Interdependence means none of us is truly free until we are all free, and our thriving is bound up in the earth's thriving. Will you say that with me? None of us is truly free until we are all free. We struggle for liberation from the violence of white supremacy, sexism, ableism, classism, and homophobia. Our covenants mean we make promises to our communities to honor, love, and justice above all else. Say it with me. We make promises to honor, love, and justice above all else. To begin our first story, let's remember this, our belief that no one is outside of the circle of love and no one is disposable. Thank you, Sandy and Tamara. In September 1938, Nazi Germany invaded northern Czechoslovakia. Thousands of refugees, Jews and others fearing Nazi occupation, fled south, many ending up in Prague.
In January 1939, the Reverend Waitstill Sharp and his wife Martha could have turned down the request from the American Unitarian Association to leave their children and home in the U.S. and head to Prague to aid persecuted people. At that time, America was isolationist and had not yet joined the war and was reluctant to open its doors to refugees. 17 others had declined the mission that was given to the Sharps to go to Prague. Just weeks after their arrival in Czechoslovakia, the couple watched Hitler's groups march into Prague. They were shadowed by Gestapo agents. Their offices were ransacked, and they had to burn files to protect refugees' identities. The young couple themselves from the U.S. narrowly escaped arrest by returning home to the U.S. in August.
1 year later, the Sharps returned to a second mission. They secured a trainload of condensed milk in great demand to feed refugee babies in southern France. Working with various aid networks, the Sharps rescued an estimated 125 people, Jews, political dissidents, and others under threat of fascist armies spread across Europe. They also helped get food and other assistance to hundreds more in urgent need.
We will continue our story of the Sharps in a moment, but first I invite you now to rise in body or spirit to sing with me our opening hymn. It's number 1046 in that teal book, and it's called Shall We Gather at the River. Please sing with me. Back. Let's sing our doxology in English and Spanish, and then turn toward one another and speak those words of aspiration as words of promise and community. Let's sing.
Thank
We begin our second story by remembering another one of our beliefs here. We make promises to honor love and justice above all else.
By the mid-1940s, the strength of Nazi Germany had grown, taking severe tolls on human life throughout Europe. Not enough was being done to assist the thousands of people attempting to flee the danger of Nazi occupation. Inspired by Reverend Waitzel and Martha Sharp's courageous mission, the Unitarian Service Committee was established in 1940 to continue humanitarian service. Its commissioner was Reverend Charles Rind Joy.
Lisbon was the only open port in Europe, and millions of refugees were pouring in. From his headquarters in Lisbon, Reverend Joy oversaw a secret network of couriers and agents helping to provide travel documents for all those refugees to escape to freedom. But the Unitarian Service Committee was an unknown organization. That put them at a disadvantage. Establishing trust across barriers of language and nationality and faith could mean life instead of death.
Joy needed an official symbol for the papers issued by the Service Committee. He wrote, "When a document may keep a man out of jail, give him standing with governments and police, it is important that it look important." He asked Hans Deutsch, an Austrian refugee artist, to create one. The result was essentially the flaming chalice as we know it now. And like our faith itself, the flaming chalice symbol has evolved over time.
The chalice, as a two-dimensional drawing, eventually transformed into an object used in worship, thanks to our religious exploration programs. Curricula in the late 70s encouraged the children to make chalices with different media. Eventually, those chalices morphed into objects that could be lit. The first documented uses of chalices in the main sanctuary are from Sundays on which the children and youth led worship and demonstrated their practice to the adult congregation.
Our chalice lighting words this morning come once more from the Reverend Elizabeth Wynn. To be a Unitarian Universalist means we'll never be done with the work of telling the truth about oppression, the work of resisting any laws, policies, or practices that deny anyone their humanity, the work of stubbornly seeking out the spark of the divine within each other no matter what, the work of creating heaven here on earth. To be a Unitarian Universalist also means we're not alone in the work. We're not alone because our promises to love one another. We're not alone because we are companions on the journey. We grow ourselves into allies, helping one another get free, because none of us is truly free until we are all free. In that spirit, we light our chalice this morning. And now we will sing our children out to their classes and wish them well on their day of religious education. Let's sing them out. During circle. We begin our third story by remembering the truth that none of us is truly free until we are all free. to Susie and Brad, who are readers on this story.
In the 1800s, white Unitarians and Universalists had inconsistent responses to what we now recognize as the evil of slavery. The country's bitter divisions grew when the Fugitive Slave Act was passed in 1850. Some Unitarians and Universalists stayed on the sidelines, while others became avid abolitionists. Unitarian minister Reverend Theodore Parker was an abolitionist, a leading member of the Boston Vigilance Committee, an underground group that helped hundreds of enslaved people find freedom.
In 1854, a 19-year-old enslaved person named Anthony Burns escaped from slavery in Virginia and fled to Boston, where he was arrested and held at the courthouse. A crowd of 5,000 assembled at Boston's Faneuil Hall, where Theodore Parker told them, "I love peace, but there is a means and there is an end. Liberty is the end, and sometimes peace is not the means toward it." Meanwhile, members of Boston's black community were meeting nearby and rushed to the courthouse in an attempt to rescue Burns. Hundreds of white abolitionists ran from Faneuil Hall to help them. An estimated 2,000 anti-slavery protesters mobbed Court Square that Friday night and tried unsuccessfully to free Burns.
The United States was built on a legacy of slavery, racism, and oppression that continues to take new, ever-changing forms. Today, 172 years after the Boston slave riot, Unitarian Universalists bear witness to the systemic devaluing of black lives. We commit ourselves to dismantling systems of white supremacy, which is an institutionalized cultural pattern reaching far beyond any single incident or person.
Friends, as our service continues, we will respond to some of these stories shared by singing the chorus of our anthem this morning. The choir's going to help you, but the words that start with "My courage is your courage" are in your order of service. Let's sing it for the first time now. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. We remember again that none of us is truly free until we are all free.
In the years before Kansas was admitted to the statehood in 1861, there was a violent conflict about whether slavery will be legal in that new state. John Brown, who had been born in the territory that became Kansas, was fiercely opposed to slavery. He believed that violence was justified in this righteous cause because white people would never willingly, peacefully put an end to slavery.
In 1857 and again in 1859, John Brown came to Boston to seek financial support from local abolitionists. His strongest and richest supporters came to be known as the Secret Six. 5 of them were Unitarians. 2, Theodore Parker and Thomas Wentworth Higginson, Theodore Parker and Thomas Wentworth Higginson were Unitarian ministers. The Secret Six helped fund and supply John Brown's 1859 raid on the Federal Armory at Harper's Ferry.
In the words of the Reverend Carl Gregg, we can today see the ways in which the Secret Six were naive in supporting John Brown's raid at Harper's Ferry. At the same time, the Secret Six did risk their comfort and privilege to support Brown's armed insurrection because they had come to believe that nonviolent legislative means of ending slavery had no chance in succeeding. The historical consensus is that Brown's raid, even though it failed, did catalyze the movement toward the Civil War.
Dismantling oppression is not easy. The systems of white supremacy, sexism, ableism, classism, transphobia, and homophobia do not want to be changed. They're powerful. They fight back when we attempt to find another way. And we ask ourselves, how far would you go to set other people free? It's your question to answer. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition will not provide the answer for you. Instead, we Unitarian Universalists are asked to engage in a free and responsible search for truth, for meaning, and for justice as we hold in tension the world as it is and the world we wish it would be.
We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, a proudly inclusive spiritual community, and together we build a broader search for meaning, a broader form of compassion, a bolder form of compassion, and a braver voice for justice. At this time, we invite you to support our mission with a monetary contribution. You may donate online using the QR code on your order of service, or you may put cash or a check donation in the offering baskets. Also, the completed circle of candle cards, the white card, should also be placed in the offering basket. You are invited to come forward during this time and quietly drop a stone into the bowl of water that's right here to my left, in front of me, next to the ramp, in honor or memory of what you hold in your heart. With gratitude, we now receive your offering.
sometimes in our lives, we all have pain and joys too. And in community, we can hold it all. Will you join me for this moment of prayer? Great Spirit, love by so many names, hold us in our joys, hold us in our sorrows, help us to ease the burdens of our neighbors, help us to spread love and compassion out into the world. I share these joys and sorrows. LaDawn Edwards shares in joy. Last night, she saw our beloved high school senior perform in Almost, Maine at Bob Jones High School. She'll be starring in 42nd Street. Let LaDawn know if you want to join her. Haley Clark, yes, Haley Clark is our beloved senior. And we are so proud of Haley and can't wait to support her in this next musical endeavor. I have several sorrows to share on the same topic. This one from Kathy Fisher-Mansfield. All of Huntsville and the blues world mourns the sudden loss of Dave Gallagher. We knew him as Microwave Dave. Dave lived his values and touched the heart of everyone who knew him. You will be so dearly missed, Dave. Jerry shares that she got to visit the children, or got to visit children and grandchildren this week in Phoenix, and she saw ice in full garb near those children and grandchildren's home. This is a heartbreak. We are so sorry for this loss, or for the presence of violent agitators in our community. Kendra Camp shares that she is so humbled and grateful for the love and embrace of this UU community. This community made my husband's celebration of life more than I could ever have envisioned for myself. We hold you, Kendra, and lift up Christian Camp, who we celebrated yesterday. An anonymous prayer this morning, sending strength and love to all the crisis counselors who are working on the hotlines right now, sending support for therapists and social workers right now to find the right words to support their clients when there are no words. We send strength to protesters for safety, for school teachers as well. Is there anyone else we'd like to send our love to? Our protesters, our social workers, our school teachers, our nurses, amen to our nurses, our hospice workers, lawyers, physicians, all who are helping people navigate this unfair world. Jessica Jackson asks us to keep Terry Jackson in our thoughts. She's getting knee surgery this week. We're hoping it gives her a lot of relief. We're holding you, Jessica and Terry, in our hearts. And we end with this joy. David and Darlene Patton, our dear ones, are celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary on Tuesday. Congratulations for 30 years of love. Sorrow and joy, prayer and gratitude, humbly given, humbly offered in this space. Great love, hold us in all of it. Hold us as we hold one another. May we be heard in this prayer this morning. Blessed be, and amen. Often our responsive music is meditation on breathing, but today we're going to hear the full version of We Will Carry Each Other on the Way that we will sing throughout. You've already heard the chorus, so when we get to the chorus, please sing along with me. Choir, will you rise in body and spirit to sing with me? I am looking for shelter in a friend. We can build a beginning, but I do not know the end. each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. There are prayers I don't know how to say, but I still find solace when I close my eyes to pray. What I've lost and what I hope can stay. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. I am full and I am running out. I'm a flooding river and I'm living through the drought. I have firm conviction and my heart is full of doubt. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. There are people I have never met. There is something special and I haven't found it yet. There's abundance given freely, taken with no debt. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. We will carry each other on the way. Some of our stories of Unitarian and Universalist justice makers are about how injustice, the diminishment of a person's dignity, inherent worth, and autonomy impact our most personal choices. We begin our next story by remembering that we promises to honor love and justice above all else.
Unitarian Universalists believe that freedom includes the right to make decisions about our own bodies. We believe that people who can get pregnant always have the right to make decisions about their own reproductive health. In 1879, the state of Connecticut banned the sale and use of birth control. Under this law, which stood for over 80 years, a woman in Connecticut could not legally purchase any form of birth control. In 1961, Estelle Griswold put Connecticut's ban on birth control to the test by opening a birth control clinic in New Haven. This simple act of civil disobedience resulted in the police shutting down the clinic and arresting Estelle Griswold.
Deborah Weiner, a UU religious educator, recalls, "My mother was one of the founders of the Unitarian Society of New Haven. She, along with a bunch of activist Unitarian women, were leaders with Planned Parenthood of New Haven. During the time the clinic was closed, the board was determined to continue dispensing birth control. They set up in our basement with the windows cardboarded up, typewriters set up, boxes of diaphragms and gel and birth control pills everywhere. I was warned not to tell anyone what was going on. I was told that it could result in my mom getting arrested. So I kept quiet, and the operation continued. When the Griswold v. Connecticut ruling came down from the Supreme Court in 1965, there was a huge celebration in New Haven. My mother and her friends, who are almost all UUs, were heroes because they carried on even when the police tried to stop birth control from being available."
Our bodies are sacred. No matter how many bodies bear scars from misogyny encoded into law, from violence, from lack of access to medical care. Women's bodies are sacred, bodies with uteruses are sacred, and so are the choices offered by reproductive freedom. Will you sing with me? Unitarian Universalists know that life comes with hard choices, and we believe that pregnant people can be trusted to make hard choices, including the decision to terminate a pregnancy.
Even after the Griswold versus Connecticut ruling in 1965, it was difficult for women to get birth control in many areas of the country. It was illegal and often deadly to seek an abortion.
In 1967, an unlikely group formed to help women obtain safe abortions, the Clergy Consultation Service, an underground network of rabbis and ministers, including UU ministers.
The charge for aiding and abetting an illegal abortion was a $1,000 fine and up to a year in prison. But the Clergy Consultation Service operated out in the open, says one minister, sending the message that we were chosen to defy the law in order to adhere to a higher law.
By 1973, roughly 1,400 clergy members across the country had helped hundreds and thousands of women access safe abortions. Having clergy take such risk helped to change the social attitudes about abortion. And the case that became Roe v. Wade started in Texas with the encouragement from the Unitarian Universalists, especially the Women's Alliance from the First Unitarian Church of Dallas.
Today, we affirm this commitment. In the words of Reverend Lisa Sargent, the movements for reproductive rights, for gay and lesbian rights, for civil rights, for immigrant rights, for human rights cannot be separated. Each of them is fundamentally about ensuring that every person has control over their own life. Will you once more enter into the spirit of meditation and sing with me?
Journey is only getting on.
Our seventh story shows us once again that no one is outside of the circle of love, and no one is disposable.
In 1982, the CDC created the term AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, to describe an infection that was killing people. As the AIDS epidemic grew to claim the lives of tens of thousands each year, it became clear that AIDS was moving with particular vengeance through the gay community. The response from both secular and religious voices was silence or outright condemnation. Many churches refused to hold funerals for gay men, and their own families would turn away from them.
Unitarian Universalist ministers were among the few clergy who entered the pastoral breach, grieving with and tending to the dying.
One of the UU ministers who did care for these dear ones, Rev. Kim Crawford Harvey, recalls, "I conducted the early memorial services with the clear insight that the first victims of a massive shipwreck were just washing ashore, though I couldn't possibly have imagined the magnitude of the loss. Time and again, we stood facing the ocean and scattered the ashes of our dead into the wind."
Rev. Harvey remembers sitting in silence with a dying parishioner. "Listen," he says, breaking the silence. "In all this madness, even if it kills every single one of us and there's no one left to tell the stories, it matters that we love each other well."
We are left to tell the stories. It matters that we continue to love each other well, that we make promises to honor love and justice. Let's sing one final time, "My Courage." My In our final story today, we recognize yet again that none of us is truly free until we are all free.
On Sunday, March 7, 1965, Alabama state troopers attacked 600 unarmed protesters as they walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge outside Selma in an attack that became known as Bloody Sunday. The following day, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called on clergy across the nation to come to Selma to witness the brutality and to bring national attention to the violence and injustice there.
In his call to clergy, Dr. King wrote, "No American is without responsibility. The people of Selma will struggle on for the soul of the nation, but it is fitting that all America help to bear the burden. I call, therefore, on clergy of all faiths, representative of every part of the country, to join me for a minister's march. In this way, all America will testify to the fact that the struggle in Selma is for the survival of democracy everywhere in our land."
The struggle for the survival of democracy continues today. In January, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, better known by their acronym ICE, came in force to Minneapolis and St. Paul to conduct sweeping raids on Somali Americans and others. They have terrorized the Twin Cities. When faced with nonviolent protesters and observers, they have responded with pepper spray, tear gas, and bullets. Renee Good and Alex Pretty, both beloved community members, were murdered by ICE agents while lawfully observing their observations. In response to the escalating violence, faith leaders have once again been called to witness.
In 1965, clergy responded to Dr. King's call. Today, the clergy are again responding to the call. UU ministers and other religious leaders from across the country have come to Minneapolis to bear witness to the ongoing injustice.
As Side with Love writes, our faith calls us to affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person, to side with love, and to work for justice. We go to Minneapolis because when our neighbors are under siege, when mothers are dying from fear in their own homes, living our principles demands we show up. We go to bear witness, to use our bodies and our covenant to say, not here, not in our name.
Not all of us could go to Minneapolis to witness, though I'm so proud of the more than 200 Unitarian Universalist ministers who did, and about 1,600 other clergy who joined them as well. But our response to all injustice must be as a community, not as individuals. No one of us is powerful enough to fight the oppression we're experiencing, but together we could respond powerfully. Some of us witnessing in person, others supporting at a distance, all of us answering the call. I invite you to join me once more in the spirit of prayer with these words offered by Reverend Allie Casey Bell. Spirit of love and justice, because we know these two must be held together if we are to get where we are going. Be with us now. At this time when so much is changing, unimaginable, horrific, multiplying by the day, give us strength not to turn our heads, but to lift our voices, our bodies, our very selves, to keep bending the moral arc toward thriving, toward equity, toward care for all. Help us examine and act on what we are learning, not only about the world, but about ourselves, about how we shape and echo and amplify the noise of division. Turn our voices, turn our habits, turn our silence until what once was divided becomes a song of resistance. Settle us out of our minds and into our hearts so we may release whatever keeps us disconnected from one another. We cry out, how long? And we answer back, now, and in the past, and in the future, because justice does not take a break from tyranny. Fascism cannot change the face of compassion. Equity will not surrender to the false comfort of the inequitable. Let us remember that hope has feathers, that it takes wing, not because it is naive, but because it is present, active, alive. And let us rest, not in complacency, but in truth. We are survivors, we are thrivers, and we will not stop until our work is done. Amen, ashe, and blessed be. We close our service in singing. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for number 1014, once again in that teal hymnal. The words we will sing are, "We are answering the call of love." Please sing with us.
And so every soul
Friends, our worship service now comes to a close. Thank you for joining us today. I'll be at the sanctuary to greet you, and everyone is invited to head to Fellowship Hall for coffee and conversation, and it's dip day, so try out some fun dips, yay. Together, we will now extinguish our chalice with these words of Reverend Elizabeth Wynn, and if you look in your program, there's responsive words for you too. Unitarian Universalism is for those who have seen the arc bend toward justice and those who doubt it will ever bend, but know we must organize as if our lives depend on it anyway. Some theologies say that only some people are saved. From those theologies flows a world where people are criminalized for their identities, for being Muslim, transgender, Black, undocumented. Speak this truth with me. Our theology says that we are all saved, and salvation is what we strive to build now for each other. And so we resist any laws, policies, or practices that deny anyone their humanity. We know that now on earth is our chance to create heaven. We know that love crosses borders and prison walls, that love lives in queer families and disability justice organizers, and it thrives among trans young people and working class elders. Speak with me this truth. We extinguish this chalice with gratitude for our roots, the ancestors who taught us to be brave in creating a fair and loving world. The flame is now ours, as is their work. We side with love, we work for justice, and we carry the flame forward. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace. We'll sing our rite of community as we exit. May I be light in you.